everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Claire and this is Yoli. I'm sorry that this video is slightly late. I had a crazy time moving with hundreds of plants and Yoli, so thanks for bearing with me. I didn't have a lot of time to actually plan a video this week, so what I did is I put a poll on my Instagram story asking if you'd be more interested to see a plant room tour or some sort of DIY video, and you voted for a plant room tour. I'm literally so sad that I never got around to doing a tour of my proper setup at my old place. I think I do have a video of it somewhere when it was in its early days, so I'll have a look for that and pop that in here because it was literally the best jungle room ever. I miss it so much. But now that the jungle haven's moved, I'm here in my temporary plant room slash plant corner, which to be fair, I'm pretty happy with. It's just slightly cramped compared to before. But I thought I'd take you around and show you what is happening here. So I'm gonna take you off the tripod. Ooh, try and take you off the tripod. So a lot of my personal collection are stashed in my room under grow lights, but I have got a few of my big babies here. This is Eleonora. She's a Euphorbia ACRURENSIS. Basically commonly known as a cowboy cactus. Fun little fact for you, she's actually not a cactus. She is just a succulent, but obviously often mistaken for a cactus. I haven't actually had her very long. I stocked her in my shop a few months back, kept her in my house, and just got really sad when I eventually sold out. So I thought I would get one for me and treat myself. But this girl isn't actually as big as I thought she'd be. Nevertheless, I literally love her so much. She's super low maintenance, and like most of my succulents, I don't actually have a strict watering schedule for her. I just tend to go off how dry the soil is and how light her pot feels. But she's really chilled and perfect. I want more Eleonoras. I also have one here and more over here, slightly smaller versions that I'm about to list in my shop. I just love how unique they all are. I may or may not have put one aside for myself. Apparently this one's also really easy to propagate, which I've never done before, so if I do decide to do that, I'll definitely make a video on it. Another one, which again is one of mine, is Danny. He's a giant Diffenbachia. I never know the right way of saying that. I'm going to call them Diffenbachia for the sake of this. They're commonly known as dumb cane, and I never knew why they were called that, but I looked it up the other day, and apparently it's because if you eat it, then you won't usually be able to talk afterwards. They contain these toxic compounds that if you eat it will make your mouth and throat swell up. Yeah, don't eat them, basically. This one again is really low maintenance, low light tolerant, and not too fussy water-wise. I tend to water every couple of weeks or so, only when the top few inches of soil feel dry. This one's a Diffenbachia Compacta, and I just love the variegated speckles it has. They're so pretty. I've also got some smaller dumb canes in the jungle collection over here. These ones suffered from really bad frostbite when I first got them, so I've had to do a major chop of some of them, which was so sad. But they're super fast growers, so I reckon they'll bounce back pretty fast. Again, just look at those leaves. They're literally so perfect. I've also propagated loads of them before, so if you want to know more about that, then let me know in the comments below. I was just chatting away about my yucca plant and just realised that I hadn't pressed record, so I'm gonna start that again. This is my yucca, Yasmin. Again, she's a really low maintenance chilled plant. Basically, from my personal collection, all of my relatively easy big plants are in here, and all of my nightmares slash bad plant children are contained down in my room with me, just so that I can keep a close eye on them and deal with it really quickly if they throw a tantrum. But Yasmin's really adaptable. Over the years, she's been in direct sun, low light, and everything in between, and never really complained. She's also super drought tolerant, so similarly to the other two, I just tend to water her when her soil feels dry. Again, I've got some smaller yucca babies over here, which are going up in my shop. Potentially already are in my shop actually by the time this video goes out. I've called them Yasmin. I didn't think they were quite giant enough to be Yasmin standard yet, but one day. I mean, they're still pretty tall. Here, I've got some of my little propagations. I'm trying a couple of different methods for the Peperomia frost. In the past, I've always either used water or moss propagation, but I've heard so much about how actually chopping the leaf in half and planting it in soil speeds up the process. So I am trying that out. I've never propagated like this before, so I will let you know how it goes. I've also just got a couple here in water propagating as well. I've also got a devil's ivy propagation that I started in the first lockdown and then just totally forgot about, hence why its roots have just gone absolutely crazy. But touch wood, it does seem to be doing fairly well just in water. This one was literally just one leaf and a node a few months back, so obviously making some pretty serious growth. I don't know, I might transfer her into LECA at some point, but I quite like her like this. I think, okay, it looks a bit green and gross, but I think she's doing pretty well, so I might just leave her for the time being. I've also got a few MONSTERA ADANSONIIs down here. Again, they're one of my favourites, really easygoing, super fast growing. Yeah, they're just really lovely chill plants, to be honest. I've got about 5 in my personal collection, and I love how you can train them to climb. I see photos of them all the time, and people have them kind of climbing over mirrors and over pictures, and I definitely want to do that at some point. So down in this corner, I've got my little variegated aloe, who's literally growing so quickly now she's got going. I've got so much soil and bottles and stuff under the table. Very interesting, I know. I repotted the mother plant a few months back and just found this teeny tiny pup buried in the soil, so decided to propagate it. And she's a little bit wobbly. I'm not sure how well established her roots are, but she is doing so well. I also revamped her pot just because I'm not a massive fan of the plastic orange ones. And I hate spending money on loads of pretty planters when I don't always have to, unless they're really special. I also decorated this pot. This is a baby Madagascar jewel that I traded with someone on Instagram. I swapped a Monstera cutting for this baby, which might seem extreme, but I was just so desperate for this plant. As you can see, one of her new leaves has come out a bit weird and curled. She was left at my old place for a while I was moving, so I think she probably just got slightly neglected, cold, underwatered, humidifier gone. But they're pretty hardy plants. She's still only small, but I reckon she will make a good comeback. Look who's here, Yelly. Look who's here. Are you having fun in here? Oh God, tail, 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 tail. Oh no, 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 no. These ones here are some Jungle Haven rejects, which I have very selflessly decided to adopt. I say rejects most of the time. There wasn't a lot wrong with them. I just fell in love with them and so decided to buy them from myself. I'll go through these ones more specifically, but before I forget, I want to quickly cut my problem children that I spoke about downstairs. I'm not wearing this hat to try and be cool. I just got back from a dog walk and it's the only time I've got to film today. My hair's awful, so I'm wearing my hat. So I'll cut back to the plant room tour in a minute, but these 3 behind me, actually not so much my variegated Monstera, but my fiddle leaf and elephant ear have definitely at times been problem children. Frida, my fiddle leaf, literally never gave me any grief until I moved, but a few days after she just randomly started to wilt and bend and her leaves started dropping. They didn't fall off, but they just all spread and kind of dropped. And she just looked really wilty and not happy. But now that I've got my grow lights all set up and I think she's just kind of adjusted to the new environment a bit, she is coping a lot better. She has, however, got a few tears in her leaves, but that is just down to Yoli's waggy tail. My elephant ear, the Wicked Witch of the East, is actually doing really well since the move, all things considered. As you can see, the kind of rigidness of her leaves has dropped a little bit, like they've gone a bit floppy, but that happened last time I moved her about a lot, so I'm thinking she's just kind of going through her adjustment period. I got these grow lights a while back and I wasn't really sure if they were going to be enough for my big plants, especially like all of these are fairly high light plants. But touch all the woods, they have been absolutely fine so far and they seem happy. I've had no lost leaves. This one's actually got some babies coming up, which I will show you. Another one that I've got down here that is not a problem child, but I just want to show you her because she's so gorgeous, is Aurora. She is a Jungle King Anthurium, and again, she was a Jungle Haven reject. This one genuinely was though, because you can see that something's kind of nibbled at her leaves at some point. And I guess I could have sent her back, but I just really liked her, so now she's mine. I did do a thorough pest check, treatment, quarantine, which I do for all my new plants. But yeah, she's doing really, really well. She's actually one of my easiest plants. I mean, I'd put her and snake plants up there as my 2 easiest care plants right now. She's been in high light, low light. She's not fussy if you forget to water her. She's really drought tolerant. Yeah, she's just a really, really easy plant. Another great beginner plant here if you want something big and green. I'm always really amazed by the new leaves on this one because it can give you absolutely nothing for months, and then like this one here, this is a relatively new one, it will just pop out something that is like 80 centimeters big. I'm getting really distracted now. I didn't come down here to show you her, so I will take you back to the plant room. So some of the ones that I've got in Jungle Haven that I haven't nicked for myself. Firstly, the variegated monsteras. They're honestly just such special plants, and I genuinely spend probably way too long just sitting and staring at them. I've actually got one here that recently pushed out a little half moon leaf. And now all I want to do is keep it. But I won't. I'm going to list it, but it'll probably be another cowboy cactus situation where I end up buying a new one for myself. Who knows? She is such a beauty though, and so is this other new leaf that only unfurled from the half moon one about a week ago. These ones are pretty easygoing plants, but they do require more light than your average Monstera deliciosa because the white variegated parts can't actually absorb light, so the green bits will be working twice as hard to support the plant. This area is actually north facing, but because of the glass roof, all the plants do tend to receive a really good amount of natural light all day long. If I'm still here come summertime though, I will definitely have to reevaluate. Another one that I've got lots of are snake plants. I think I've got at least 2 in every room of my house. They're super air purifying and just look so gorgeous. So here I've got a Laurenti. I think that's how you say it, Laurenti. But you can see it's got kind of dappled green and yellow edges. And it is very, very pretty. And this one's a moonshine, which is just really pale and moonshiny. I literally can't think of a better word for it. They're super easy to care for. If I had to pick, I'd say they're my #1 easiest care plant. They cope well in basically any light. They can go weeks on end without watering. They're not too fussy when it comes to humidity. Best starter plant ever, in my opinion. I've literally got hundreds of Dracaenas, but the ones here have all been in recovery and are actually waiting for a really good prune. I usually try to prune weekly or whenever I can see that they need it, but with everything going on, I've just fallen a bit behind. So down here, I've got some little aloes, aloe veras. Again, these ones came in when it had been about -12 overnight, so a few were slightly damaged, but this lot here haven't had to go into recovery and are doing super well. I just love the look of their leaves. They've got loads of amazing uses. My mum's got one in the kitchen and she always uses a bit of the gel from it if she burns herself. I've also started putting them on my skin because I heard that that was really good to do. And yeah, so far can't complain. Up here, I've got some Alocasia poly plants or Alocasia amazonica. Alocasias can be quite temperamental, so I wouldn't necessarily say they're the best starter plants. But they are gorgeous. I just love those veins. These ones do really hate their soil to dry out, so it's best to just keep it consistently, evenly moist at all times. Although I'll always take the guideline watering into account, to be honest, with most of my plants, I tend to just monitor them and water them when I can see that they really need it. Next, I've got some rubber plants. I'm slightly obsessed with variegated plants, and with these ones, I just love how when they push out a new leaf, it will come out pink at first. I'm not too sure what's going on with this leaf. I do think rubber plants are really great starter plants just because they're so low maintenance. That being said, they are really susceptible to overwatering, so just make sure you're watering them when they need to be and not just when you feel like it. I had a huge one a few years back and I did accidentally overwater and it just died a really slow death and it was very sad to watch. Tucked behind these ones, I've also got an Abidjan. Her name's Faye, and she's actually been growing loads recently. My other rubber plants seem to have slowed down just because it's been so cold, but she is speedier than ever. Down here, I've got some golden pothos plants. These ones are such fast growers. Some of these babies are already starting to branch out. They're also, as you saw from my hydro cutting, really, really easy to propagate. I've also got another one currently in my propagation station. This one I actually only started propagating the other day. Yoli came bounding in with her waggy tail and decapitated this leaf, but fortunately it did have a node, so I'm hoping I get a nice little baby plant out of it. This shelf, as you can see, is currently empty. I have got some zebra cacti due to go there, but they came in slightly later and so they are still in their quarantine. I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but I would always advise quarantining your plants before just putting them in with the rest of your plants. Just because if they've got pests or a fungal disease or something that you don't know about, then they could end up spreading it to all of your plants. I've got some furry feather calatheas here. I literally just love the feeling of their leaves. They're like little bunny ears. I just love calatheas in general, to be honest. This is actually the least I've had in jungle in ages. I also made a video a while back about calathea care where I went through some of the different types of calatheas. I will link that above just in case anyone's interested. Moving on up, I've got some Hoya crinkles here, Hoya crinkle 8. I absolutely love Hoyas. I've got quite a few down in my personal collection, but these ones are just gorgeous and surprisingly fast growing as well. Quite often I rotate my plants in the room, and whenever these ones have been under the grow lights for a few days, I always notice new baby leaves starting to appear. I know I haven't really talked about grow lights in this video, but I am planning a video on it at the moment. Finally, way up here, oh, let me just see if I can get it down. I've got some Madania Bright Star plants. I don't know if you can really tell on here, but the leaves almost have like a bluish tinge to them. These ones are still quite small, but when they start to grow and kind of flow out of the hanger, they look so pretty. Again, I found these ones really, really easy to look after. Yeah, they're just really low maintenance. And that's it as it currently stands in here. I haven't included all of my own plants in here just because not all of my plants are in this room, but if you liked this video and would like to see another one like it, then let me know in the comments below and I will do it. If you're enjoying my videos so far, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel with the notification bell turned on so that you will be the first to know when I post new content. Also, my shop is reopening on Monday, so I will pop the link in the description box below if anyone fancies a cheeky plant haul. I'll be bringing you lots more weekly plant videos soon, so stay tuned.